Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Going live on this, what is it, Friday? I was about to say Wednesday, in that kind of week. Anyways, it's been a while. I haven't been on here in a minute. Hopefully, stream's coming through okay. It's been a few changes to the platform I've been using to stream. But yeah, we're back. It's been like 2 weeks, I think, since I've streamed. So anyways, we're back today. It's Kevin Townsend, K Creative here with Bamboo Solutions. Going to be doing that SharePoint weekly newsletter roundup. We were doing this pretty consistently for a while. Kind of broke off. Summer happened. Kids, things, stuff. So going to pick this thing back up. And so anyways, if you're not familiar with the SharePoint newsletter that we put out, we do it every Friday. Hit your mailbox right around 8 a.m. At noon on Fridays. We come at you with a live stream, kind of going through the newsletter together. You can sign up for the newsletter there in chat if you aren't already. I'm going to turn that tune down just a hair. Hardly hear myself think. So yeah, click the link. Get signed up. Get some. I was going through the newsletter this morning, kind of checking out the news items that are on there this week. And yeah, got some good info. Some good stuff happening there. So let's check it out together. So I'm going to open it up in the browser, as always. If you've never seen it. JMO, what's up? Been a while. You home? Are you on the road still? Happy Friday for show. Here we go. So here's the newsletter. If you've never seen it, it's a Mailchimp newsletter. Ain't nothing new. Newsletter we put together. But we do have some pretty elite peoples running around the webs, finding the good news out there for Microsoft and specifically in the SharePoint space. So we put this out. Sign up for it. Get it in your box. If you come to the browser version of the newsletter, you can view past issues. You can always go back and catch up. Home all week? Yeah, dude, I know you were traveling a bit. So yeah, you can view those past issues. In our newsletter, we got top news stories. This is the stuff that's coming from media outlets and things like that. And then we've got an Around the Blogosphere section of our newsletter. This covers all the enthusiasts, evangelists, Microsoft professionals, the MVPs, etc. This is their blogs that they're putting out that have really good kind of how-tos, tutorials, walkthroughs, experiences, things like that. And then we have the events that are currently going on in the SharePoint space, so you can get plugged in. So let's do it. We usually only take about 30 minutes, but here we are 8 minutes in because I got started late. So let's see where we get when we get there. Top news stories, first one. Phishing campaign uses SharePoint to slip past defenses. I was checking this out. Pretty crazy, man. Those hackers, though, you know? Those hackers have been using SharePoint to host files, so they would penetrate a SharePoint instance or use something they had access to, and they would send out emails, spam emails, to whoever, I guess, they had access to, and they would include SharePoint links. So they would attach files to SharePoint that were malicious, but it looked like it was coming from a valid source, right? Because it's SharePoint. So they were hosting them there. It said, let me see here, SharePoint serves the initial mechanism to deliver that second malicious URL. So victims who access the compromised SharePoint site will see a malicious OneNote document, which they are prompted to download, right? So, so you get a good link in your email, doesn't get flagged. It's like, yo, SharePoint file, been shared with you. Click on it, and then there's another file there hosted on SharePoint that they're saying, open this to get to the thing, right, that we're asking you to do. And when you open that one, it's compromised. So anyways, little something there for some current security notes regarding the SharePoint space. So look out for that stuff, right? Look out for those scary emails out there. 5 steps to complete a SharePoint Online migration. Lots of that going on these days, right? Migrating to SharePoint Online from your on-prem. We're doing a heck of a lot of that. This is 5 steps to complete a migration. We've done quite a few coverages of these kinds of posts in the past, and they're all very similar. You're going to analyze the information you've got. You're going to look at some of these details, right? Branding, functional components, workflow, forms, and reporting. That's step 1. You analyze that stuff. Step 2, design your 2B architecture wherever you're going. and get your architecture set up, get it ready to get to migrate into. And then you do the migration, step 3, and then you verify. Once you migrate everything in the cloud, they're saying be sure to test the content customizations to uncover any issues early on. Yeah, you know, verify. Trust, but verify, right? And then number 5, decommission that old space. Let's get rid of that. Let's not have any of that duplicate effort out there. Don't let our peeps get lost, right? Let's kind of guide them into that new location in that fresh and clean environment and move on. So that's 5 steps to complete a SharePoint Online migration. Then we got from Digital Trends, Slack versus Teams. This was kind of enjoyable. The Russians, no doubt. Those evil Russians. Nah, I'm just kidding. I could talk about Russians. I'm married one. Right? Ukrainian. Sorry. She's going to slap me for that one later. Anyway, Slack versus Microsoft Teams. This was interesting. So I have used Slack at a few, actually I should say a previous employer as our internal collaboration and communication platform. And so having had that experience, that real world, trying to get work done in Slack, but now being completely Microsoft Teams and obviously a consultant of Microsoft anything, I can do a pretty good comparison for you, just like this post does. And so as I'm reading their analysis of the comparison, I agree with most of what they're saying here. And I got to say, Digital Trends seems to be in the Teams leaning, if you will, in that direction. So anyways, to get straight to it, messaging capabilities, they're saying they're both fairly similar. Teams does have better, what do you call it, Giphy and meme generation stuff around it, right? So it's got like, Slack has that integration, but the GIF, like, I don't know if you guys are like this at work, but here internally, there's Giphies flying all over chat, right? Like it just kind of livens it up, adds some humor to things and whatnot. But in Slack, it's a little difficult to do Giphy. Like I had to add the integration. I had to then do a /Giphy command and type in, yeah, right, memes or bust. I had to type in like /Giphy space and then some term I wanted it to search for. And then I'd have to click next to sort through them to pick which one I wanted to post, right? It was kind of a pain in the butt. Anyways, Teams has got great Giphy integration. You literally just hit the Giphy thing when you're editing a message and start typing a search and just it starts searching and filtering for the stuff you want. Click on it, embeds it right there, go to town. So anyways, to me, Teams wins the messaging capability just because of that. For me, that's a big deal. What else? As far as customizing the interface, they did say Slack has more themes. But look, dude, dark theme or go home, right? That's the way I live. All right, pricing models. Pricing... interesting. Both services have a couple of packages for adding more features beyond the free version. I will say in Slack, one of the things you run up against almost immediately is the 10,000 message limit. So on the free plan, you get 10,000 messages. Once you hit that, the oldest message gets archived or moved off, right? And then you just continue to kind of trim the rear end of your message log as you add new ones. Teams says they offer unlimited messages and guest access, screen sharing, and 2 gigs of storage. So you do get 5 gigs of storage there with Slack, it looks like. But so you get more storage, but you do get unlimited messages. So as long as your messages stay sort of small and don't have a bunch of attachments to them, then you won't consume a lot of storage space, right? So you should have capability to have more messages in Teams than Slack for the free version. Then on the paid ones, you know, standard paying for Slack, they're saying is $667 per user a month, and it adds things like screen sharing, unlimited app integration, guest access, and a $12 plan adds a lot more support and options for internal integration with other business software. But Teams, meanwhile, they're saying offers an upgrade to a lot more storage when you get as part of a $5 a month 365 Essentials plan, which that includes 365 benefits, which is pretty huge, right? The free version of Slack comes with 5 gigs. Yep, paid plans go 10 gig to 20 gig. And then there's a cap at 10,000 message history for the free version. Yeah, we talked about that. Teams offers 2 gigs and 10 gig total shared storage for a team for the free version. Okay, so you get 2 gigs per person, per user in the free plan. And 10 gig total shared. All right. Switching to Office 365, though, increases that to a terabyte of online storage for the entire business. There is no message history limit. Anyways, integrated apps Slack's got a limit of 10 integrations in free mode. Limitation goes away in the paid plans. There are more than 800 app integration possibilities if you use another productivity app to work. There's a very good chance that Slack will support it. Teams takes a different approach. It offers unlimited integrations with other apps for all pricing tiers, free included, but only supports around 180 apps. So you're kind of capped out there at the potential app integrations. But again, if you're in the Office 365 space and your organization's rocking that world, then there's no better tool, obviously, than Teams for that integration. So keep note. What else? Web conferencing, I can tell you without a doubt, Teams, the best experience for web conferencing, way better than Slack. In fact, the company that Slack acquired to do voice and video calls, Screen Hero, back in the day, I used to use it. They bought that company, shut it down, and were going to integrate it into their tool. Well, then they didn't even end up using that technology. So now we lost our best, what I liked, Screen Hero, anyways, one of my favorites. We lost that, and it's not even available at all anymore. So helper bots, I don't really use them a lot, but they do say that Slack has a better bot system, and I can agree with that. I did use a daily Scrum tool, an integration that we bought for Slack back in the day, and it was awesome. It was an awesome bot. But the T-bot here in Teams, they're saying not quite as awesome. Platform compatibility, I guess the win here is Slack because they do have a Linux version of that, and whereas Windows does not, or Teams does not. But Teams and Slack are both on Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and as a web client no matter where you're at. So you could technically use it in Linux that way through a web client, but they have a native app, it looks like, in Linux for Slack. Which one wins? I don't know. I'm partial. Moving on. The guide to 365 dashboard, this was kind of cool. So the dashboard's been getting hella updates recently, right? And it's continuing to adapt and grow and change and innovate. And so taking a look at this, what this is talking about is when you log into office.com with your organizational account, you've got a bunch of stuff happening, right? But that landing page, they kind of go through step by step here, what's on there and what it does and how you can take advantage. I'm not going to hit on all this in detail, but they're calling out the app launcher there, which if you look at the top, there's an app launcher, right? It's a bunch of links to all the apps that you've got in Office 365. I'm kind of confused by this post, though, because the app launcher used to be referred to as that little icon in the top left corner of your Office 365, and they're calling this the app launcher. So terminology, I don't know if it's official or not, but I had always seen from Microsoft, I thought, that the app launcher was this left pop-out menu that they're calling here. So anyways, got your app launcher, so you can launch all your apps. You got your search bar right there across the top, and since contextually you're within the context of your Office 365 whole tenant there when you're logged in on this page, that search bar searches all Office 365 content no matter where it's at. So pretty handy there. Then you got your pop-out menu like we talked about just now. I used to refer to it as the app launcher, but that's just it used to be just the apps. Now it's got more content in it, right? So you can see they've added some recent documents you work with in there. So no matter where you're at in Office 365, or whether you're working in SharePoint or you're in Teams or Planner or whatever, you'll have this app launcher pop-out menu thing on the left side and can view this stuff. So pretty handy there. Then you got your document section when you go to the next section down the page there on that landing page. And this is kind of showing you, recent stuff you worked on, pen stuff that you, documents that you want to identify as things you want to be able to find quickly. You got the shared with me and discover. So just different ways to interact with documents that are currently being worked on or recent in your experience online. OneDrive and SharePoint sections. SharePoint's calling out some frequent sites you hit just so you can quickly navigate to them. OneDrive, some stuff that you've recently changed potentially in OneDrive, etc. Anyways, that's kind of the quick guide that they provided to Office 365 dashboard. What else? Azure's on a spending spree. So Azure acquired another company. Yes, they have acquired 3 companies now in the last month or 2. So they are spending hella money trying to get out there and compete with the Amazon gorilla in the room, right? So what they did was they acquired a company called Moveer. And Moveer is a migration tool company, I believe. Cloud migration is increasingly important for businesses' digital strategy, it says. Today, they're pleased to announce that Microsoft has acquired Movir, an innovative technology provider in the cloud migration space. So there you go. The more recent acquisitions were, let's see here. In July, Azure team announced the acquisition of Blue Talon. It was a firm which aims to simplify data privacy and governance across modern data estates. And then just after, in August, JClarity was added to the mix. JClarity was a leading contributor to the Adopt OpenJDK project, which will help teams at Microsoft to leverage advancements in the Java platform. So you got those two acquisitions, and then you got this one kind of moving into that cloud migration space. So trying to, I guess, go out there and find all that technology that's going to help consumers consume Azure services, right? And move to it. So makes sense, right? I don't know how much they paid for it. In fact, they said that they don't know the details. Yeah, financial details of the deal have not been revealed. So yeah, growth, right? Growth's happening. Microsoft's Ignite conference set for November and full of Windows sessions is sold out now. So that's pretty much the extent of the announcement there, is that it's sold out. So if you wanted to go to Microsoft Ignite, nope, can't do it. Missed your chance, bro. What else? There is a list of all the courses on that link, though. If you click on that, go check it out. You'll be able to check out and see what's going on. I'm not even sharing my screen, am I? John, why didn't you tell me that? That's all right. I guess it could be done without a screen share, but whatever. What else? What is IaaS? This is interesting. It's funny how the confusion in this space. yeah, you're bad. People still don't quite understand the difference between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? And so if you don't know, IaaS, actually let me find this real quick. There's a really good infographic, if you will, on Azure's website I found earlier. Here it is. No, it's not. Hold up. History. Probably don't want my history on the screen there. Here we go. Nope, not that one. Hold on. It was on this computer. It's a great infographic, though, that's going to help make a lot of sense of that. Let me... Here we go. I'm just going to go straight there. It's not too bad. Microsoft, oops, if you can type, you know. In US overview / what is IaaS? not ASSS. SSSS. All right, here we go. So this infographic right here I thought was really useful because it helps to show the sort of components that make up cloud service offerings and then break that down into the brackets that are IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So IaaS meaning the infrastructure, right? It stands for infrastructure as a service. And so the infrastructure would be things like server and storage things that you can go and consume as a service. So you don't have to manage the server hardware. You don't have to install drivers. You don't deal with that part of it. The hardware is provided to you in a supported state. So you do manage in these kinds of IaaS environments the operating systems, the software is installed, etc. So you're in control of that, but you're getting sort of that hardware level service provided to you in a managed way. So then you get up to PaaS, platform as a service, which incorporates all of IaaS's stuff. Plus, it starts to give you a managed operating system, development tools, database management, business analytics, those kinds of things in a managed way. And then SaaS is ultimately giving you apps and applications so that you only have to worry about the management of your application, not necessarily the things that it takes to run that, right? So anyways, quick lesson in IaaS there. And this whole article talks about why IaaS is beneficial, how it can benefit you in a business benefit way and a cost benefit way, et cetera, et cetera. So good article there. I would just, if you're interested in reading more about that, check it out on the newsletter. Get yourself signed up, get it in your inbox, etc. Last one here for the top news stories. New Microsoft Edge dev build. So if you notice now in my browser or my computer screen down there at the bottom, I now have 3 icons for Microsoft Edge, the Chromium based version. So I don't know why, but I have the beta version, the dev version, and the canary build. Oh, wow. So anyways, posts like this, I'm like, dude, what? Yes, this is for the dev build, but my gosh, there's going to be change logs out the wazoo for these different versions. I think Microsoft's trying to move more towards this new one, which just came out, the beta build one. And I think it's going to have the more nightly build style thing, or unless that's canary. I'm still trying to figure that out. Anyways, new things coming out for Microsoft Edge Dev. Here's a good quick list of those things that are being added. I didn't really see anything that was like mind altering or breaking or anything like that. Collections, I guess, is now available in Dev. I don't know exactly what collections are, so I'm gonna have to learn how to use that. So maybe we'll do a stream one day that kind of talks through what collections are in Microsoft Edge Chromium. All right, let's move on. What are we at? We're at half past the hour already. All right, we're on the Blogosphere. SharePoint Framework getting started. We already looked at this link. Actually, no, it's one like this link, but Waldek did provide a getting started with SharePoint Framework. So if you're in the development space and you want to try to learn how to develop using the new methodology around SharePoint deployment and apps and things like that, then you're going to want to build using the SharePoint Framework. And here's a good getting started guide for that. Bamboo product roadmap preview. Oh yeah, one of our own here. So like it says, we're coming up on 2 years now since we SharePoint experts purchased Bamboo Solutions, and we've done a lot of modernization and sort of changing our development practices. We've done so much change here as far as the product side goes. And so what's next over the next 2 years, they're going to migrate the rest of the catalog of products from classic server-side components to front-end SPFX, which we just talked about, right? The SharePoint framework, the new way to develop compliant products that we'll call cloud parts. So we've already done 12 products of ours, converted them over to cloud parts so that you can deploy them actually in SharePoint Online and in on-prem environments. Since they're just JavaScript-based solutions and deploy through the app catalog, you can do that. We also have another deployment option that allows you to not have to go through the app catalog just for specific use cases. So don't let that limit you. But yeah, we're going to convert everything over to cloud parts. And so all the last 15 so years of product development for Bamboo Solutions products for on-prem, we're going to use all of that as sort of our roadmap for features that will go into the cloud part products. And so we're making headway there. You can see here that Rob, the CEO here at the company, says that the install base wants the same features as their current on-prem products, and that's very true. And that's why we want to use that as our roadmap for converting these to cloud parts. So I won't go too much into that, but there's a nice blog post about where we're headed here at Bamboo. Update LocaleId and TimeZone with PNP. What we got here? Who's this from? Anatoly. If you get an error while trying to update regional settings on your SharePoint Online site, then PowerShell combination of PNP and CSOM are to the rescue. There you go. So you got some nice PowerShell and some CSOM, he says. Let's see here. The reason why I use a combination of PNP and CSOM is that I have not found a way of updating regional settings in PNP. Okay. There you go. If you're looking for that, there's a solution. How to automatically tag files with metadata based on folders. Wait a minute. Might be able to use this right now. Very unusual. I have used the F word and metadata in the same sentence. Is that unusual? But that is precisely what the post is all about. Amen. So what are column default value settings? Column default value settings, it's a feature of a document library that allows you to associate map folders with particular metadata columns. Interesting. I'm not familiar with this. So once configured, documents dropped into folders will get the respective metadata assigned to the folder. So how does that work? Create your folder hierarchy. Yo, Christian, if you're on, dude, this is us right here. Create your folder hierarchy. First step in the process is to create your folder hierarchy. Assume your IQ is high enough to know how to create new folders. Okay. So I created 2 levels of folders, top level with client names and subfolders underneath each client folder for different types of documents. All right. So then we create our metadata columns. Roger. Fill in the column name, drop down choices, and save. Okay. Map the folders with metadata using column default value settings feature. On the library settings page, choose that. And here you go. You'll be presented with a screen that looks like the one below. On the left side, you have your folder hierarchy, and in the middle, you have all your custom metadata columns. Wow, this is awesome. Okay, so the way mapping works, you first click on the particular folder. Yep. All right, use this default value. That's awesome. Is this SharePoint Online only? How's this? I am definitely going to go look this up because this is an exact use case right here. Hey, see you, Johnny Mo. Sorry if I missed you, man, but catch you later. Repeating another column, upload or drag and drop files into the library, okay, and then create no folders view. So we just appeased the folder conservatives. There's no tagging whatsoever. All they have to do is upload files just like they did for the last 20 years. But what about us metadata liberals? We don't want to see those pesky folders in our view. We love metadata and wish to sort and group, blah, blah, blah. This is where custom views become handy. Trick here would be to hide suppress folders altogether. Yep, so that is an option. Yep. All right. Limitations. Before you say, Greg, what you just showed me here is awesome. I want you to be aware of a few significant limitations. So you have to type in the default values. If you recall in step 3 above, you had to type in the text value of your metadata, even though it was a drop-down choice column. Trying to make sense of that. So that said, if you defined your metadata in the term store, the behavior is different. You will get a list from the term store to choose from. Another reason for you to use the mighty term store. I might have to check that article out too, in the mighty term store. Auto tagging does not work with move or copy commands. So this is a big one. So say you uploaded the docs to a folder. Thanks to the column default value settings, they got some metadata. Now if you move or copy the document to another mapped folder, the metadata will not adjust accordingly. That's fine. So we figured that out, right? Copy doesn't bring over. The old metadata values will remain assigned. Okay. Auto tagging does not work for files already residing in folders. If you already had files in folders and then went through the pain of mapping them all, oh, I see. Okay. It'll just ignore them because their property pane has never been massaged, right? Auto tagging does not work with site templates. In case you use column default value settings on a project site that you think of replicating, it won't work. All right. Too much overhead. Honestly, don't like using column default value settings much. Too much maintenance, in my opinion. You have to create folders, create metadata, views, and also maintain proper mappings. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. But for a one-off here and there, I could see some specific use cases where I could leverage that. Top 10 features of the term store? Yeah, I might have to go through that here in a little bit. See what he says. What else? We're kind of running late on time here. SharePoint roadmap Pitstop. Yeah, I always love looking at the Pitstop. Let's see what's in there. Hold on, I'm trying to check it out now. All right, what's on the? Oh, this is the Internet podcast, but they do put some good notes down here. So, site swap. What do you got? Root site originally began as a classic non-group connected SharePoint team site. Now you can make your root site one that is meant more for communication across the company. Modern communication site recommended. Like a magician trick. All right, this is awesome. So through PowerShell, we can site swap. Whoop whoop. That's awesome. Like everyone's been waiting for that. Can you believe it? We could not create a root site collection in modern format until now. We can swap a modern one to be the root site collection. All right, Joe. Joining SharePoint hubs can be performed by site owners. Okay. Comments on non-Office files. Oh, that's cool too. Have that conversation there regarding the file. Direct links to individual PowerPoint slides. That's awesome. Popular around me within the Shared With Me tab within the OneDrive shared view. Okay. Activity highlights in the file hover card. So if you're not familiar, this is the roadmap Pitstop. This is where they kind of talk about features. I believe that are out. Yeah. Samsung Plus OneDrive. Okay. Yammer mobile app updates. Yep. Microsoft To Do list groups. Oh, this is cool. List groups are a simple way to organize your lists. Getting ready to attend an event like, say, Ignite 2019. You might have a few lists, then sessions, workshops, etc. Okay, so you can group them together. Boom. There's kind of a quick look at that. July to August. Awesome. Always cool stuff coming out of that roadmap. What else we got here? Get list of recent documents in SharePoint. SharePoint Framework Application Customizer cross-site page loading. Okay, how to force item updated events and event receivers for all list. That could be pretty useful. I could see using that hack for a couple of things. SharePoint Framework Summer 2019 wish list. Yeah, let's check that out. What does Andrew say that community is wishing for here? You may notice a theme, time for some maturity. Yeah. SharePoint Framework's been available since early 2017, and every few weeks we see Microsoft share graphs of constant growth in adoption during the community calls. With some strong momentum, personally, I'd like to see Microsoft slow things down, hold a bug bash, and focus on reliability. So this is geared more towards SharePoint Framework developers. You won't find things like CSOM, PnP PowerShell, list and column formatting, site designs, etc. Ready? Let's get started. So he says, address the long open known recognized issues. 282 issues. Wow. Currently open. Then moving forward to the modernize the SharePoint Framework project. Finish the README, move non-production dependencies, clean out unnecessary entries, clean up logging, finish modern. Yeah. Stop building new features, finish existing ones, finish the MVP features, which were what? Field customizers support for new edit forms, etc. Harden SPFX. We heard Microsoft say they wanted to focus on more consistent monthly releases and focus on quality. However, with most every point release in the last year, regression has been made. That's a bummer, coming from the man himself. All right, cool stuff. So that's kind of what's going on in his wish list for the SharePoint Framework. Using polyfills for IE 11 and SharePoint Framework. Okay, I'm not going to dig into these because we're running low on time, and you know they're kind of techy and deep. So if you want those, get the newsletter, open it up, check it out. Latest updates in SharePoint Online. Let's see what that is. It's kind of a large group that would be interested in this, right? Does he call it out here? In addition to the above mentioned, Microsoft also launched and rolling out more interesting updates this month and this quarter, for example. Updates for the weather web part, hero tile layouts for news, vertical columns for page layouts. That's awesome. Page edit, modern document sets, sticky headers for large lists, and convert a communication site to become the root site. Boom! My favorite one. Okay. Cool stuff. SPFX reference webpack configuration. Super dev techie there. Get some. Who is the king of SharePoint BI and reporting tools? What is this? What is this? What is this? A poll? Who is the king of SharePoint BI and reporting tools? Over the past few years, business intelligence inside SharePoint has become one of the most desired features, especially for enterprise customers. All right, so the user voice on improved reporting features for content and usage of SharePoint has led to several groundbreaking tools, including Microsoft's very own Power BI. Okay. There are pros and cons. Okay, SharePoint. In this article, we will take a look at some of the best BI tools available. So, I see. Who is the king of SharePoint BI and reporting tools? Were we missing a comma there? Yeah, that's what the problem was. I was like, he's really gonna like compare people, like who's smarter at this stuff? No. He's trying to compare products here. Got it. So you got Microsoft SSRS, and you got SharePoint Analytics for SharePoint. You got Cardiolog Analytics. You got Netrix Auditor for SharePoint. Never heard of that one. And the verdict. Who is the king? He says Power BI is the most features. So if you're looking in, if you're looking for those BI reporting tools, Power BI according to AxioWorks. That's definitely the drive, right? Microsoft's doing a hard push, getting people into Power BI, and it's iterating quickly, just like everything else in the 365 platform. That's for sure. SP TechCon Boston 2019, we were there. Were you? Hey, look at there. It's a post of ours. Yep. So these are some of the numbers coming out of Microsoft 365 currently. Crazy numbers of adoption. Key for us was getting a chance to meet with so many Bamboo customers in one place. Right on. Great interest in hearing what was new, letting us know what their plans included, that their plans included upgrading to the latest and greatest products from Bamboo. Yeah. Keynote speaker was Dan Holmes. Presentation laid out the integrated experience of SharePoint with Teams and the other Office products. What else? Mobility played a key role as well. The attached picture shows some really impressive numbers. Yep, true dat. We were there. Actually, Rob was there. It was good sessions. Share SharePoint list and library items to Microsoft Teams. Let's check this out. And we'll move on to the events. Let me do a quick sanity check here on any open emergency emails. No, I'm good. All right, so share SharePoint list and library items to Microsoft Teams. I'm a strong believer that Microsoft Teams and SharePoint will transform the way people collaborate with each other in the enterprise environment. I am too. Over the past month, I've been building solutions to help users and administrators with the adoption of Microsoft Teams by adding share buttons to SharePoint portals to quickly share relevant information to teams and channels. Interesting. Today, I bring you a command set for modern SharePoint lists and libraries that will share a direct link to a list item or to a document on a document library. How do you install it? Download it here, which is on his website. FYI, it's a zip file. By default, the solution is deployed globally to all lists and libraries in the tenant. If you want to limit the scope of the extension just to one of them, do the following after the installation. Cool. How to use the share item button. So, get a nice little animated GIF here. All right, so he's got a document. He selects it. It adds an item up here into the contextual menu. Share item to teams. Then you pick where. Search for a team or a channel. Okay. And then you say something about it, and let's see what the final result looks like. Boom. There you go. That's pretty neat. That's really, really handy, actually. Maybe stop people from dragging documents into chat in Teams and then having now a version of that document in the Files tab of that team. That's a good thing. Sweet, sweet, sweet tool. All right. So that's it for the around the blogosphere. Let's move on down to SharePoint events. So what do we got? We got Collab 365 SharePoint Summit coming up September 10th through the 12th online. We got a webinar coming up on the 12th, September 12th online. So join me for that. Quick link there to sign up for that. We're going to go over our Product Planner Plus so we can Kanbanize our list data. September 14th, kicking them off here. SharePoint Saturdays coming up in Barcelona, Stockholm, Adelaide. I don't even know where that's at. Pittsburgh. Helsinki, Los Angeles, Richmond, Boston, Ottawa, Cincinnati, Denver, Ensenada, Brussels, and Kansas City. Lots of opportunity there to plug in. I say it every time. If you've never been to a SharePoint Saturday and you're in the SharePoint world, get some. It's so good. You get to shake hands. Every time I've gone, Microsoft is all, the employees that you may potentially work with in your area are going to be there. You're going to find evangelists, MVPs giving talks about new stuff, right? Stuff that we may not even cover in this newsletter once a week, right? I've gotten so much good information out of SharePoint Saturdays. It's unbelievable. Susan Hanley rocks my world every time I go to one of those. So, yeah, you got to go. Anyways, Panda Talk. So that's one of the new webinar formats that I'm going to start doing here. So we're going to call it a Panda Talk because, we're Bamboo. And the first Panda Talk is going to cover project management and how SharePoint is a very useful tool for providing your organization with that. So no matter how large or small your organization is, we all need some PMing tools, right? And SharePoint can give you that love, right? At scale, right? We can do some pretty amazing things that work for both enterprise customers as well as small businesses. And I just kind of want to talk about how SharePoint's a good fit for that kind of thing. So that's on September 19th. You can sign up for that there. September 24th, we're going to build modern SharePoint applications using SharePoint Framework. That's a Microsoft-provided course you can get on. Then the 26th is our last webinar of the month. I'll be giving that on knowledge management, how we're going to centralize and organize content and resources. That's it. That's all we got today, folks. The SharePoint Weekly Newsletter Roundup. What is today? 9/6? September 6th. There we go. It's a wrap. I think we're going to be on... Yeah, I'm going to kick back off on those Wednesday streams. Let's see here. So Wednesdays, I do 12 to 12:30. We do a setup. We kind of go over the material it takes to make the webinar happen the following day on that Thursday. The webinars are currently being streamed to GoToWebinar. So I don't stream on Twitch for those, but... I'm looking to try to change that. So I'm looking for a solution to use OBS so that I can do all this fancy overlay stuff but present not only through Twitch, but also through the GoToWebinar using OBS. So anyways, trying to figure that out. But Wednesdays, we will get back to streaming live from 12 to 12:30, prepping for the webinar. Thursday, the following Thursday, we'll do the webinar on the product we kind of talked about the day before. And then on Fridays, we'll go over our newsletter like we did today. We'll do the weekly newsletter roundup. So expect more consistency here as summer months have wrapped up. Kids are back in school. Life's getting back to sort of a steady state. We'll see. What up, J-Dog? Thanks for jumping on, bro. Yeah, that's it. So if you got any questions, hit me up. Kevin.Townsend@bamboosolutions.com, or you can reach us at the website on the contact link. You name it. There's a million ways to reach us. You can figure it out. Thanks for jumping on today. Y'all have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace out.